Hi, I'm Brianna Matthews, and welcome to my 321 reflection of RHM 555 Sports Sales and Entrepreneurship. This class has been such an incredible journey. I am excited to take you along with me. There are so many things that I can talk about, but first, I want to share the 3 things that I learned in this course. Attaining knowledge from your professor is always helpful, but gaining information from your classmate is always a plus. The interaction with the blog post really allowed me to see and learn information from a different point of view. While exchanging conversations, I learned particularly in the blog post CSR, which, by the way, was my favorite assignment. I learned from a classmate, Carlo, that some of the most iconic players across the sports industry use their platform to help change communities. A player that stood out to him immediately was Tim Tebow. Even from his early career at the University of Florida, Tebow was known to promote his faith, often writing Bible verses on his eye black to be seen by fans across the nation. As he led his team to wins on the field, he quickly became a polarizing figure in all of sports. He was seen as a spokesperson for Christian faith. As he transitioned to the NFL, he faced much scrutiny for his play, but continued to preach his mission. My CSR blog post focused on basketball Kobe Bryant. Interacting with my classmates, especially like Carlo, I was able to relate it back. Carlo's blog post almost brought tears to my eyes. I had no idea that Tim Tebow was a part of so many organizations. He has changed my perspective on athletes. Him partaking in so much activism shows that his love goes beyond the game of football. It is amazing how one can have so much earned money and still choose to give back with it. I love that he stood by his faith, although it was unpopular. An act like that in today's age takes bravery. I believe that sometimes it is hard to stand by something when there are others that are against it. I guess it just goes to show you how seriously committed he was to helping and growing community through his faith. After reading Carlo's blog post, I gained a new love for him. Regardless of what collegiate football fan you are, I think it can be recognized that he did and is going to do a great job. While Carlo was great, he was not the only classmate that brought information to light. In blog post 3, we learned the economic importance of winning. Classmate Claire gave a great insight about the University of Alabama's football team constantly wins games. In 2020, when the team won a national championship, Alabama Athletics had a revenue of $189.3 million that year. This was a $25.2 million difference from 2019 and the most Alabama Athletics had ever made. However, not all teams win in the time like the University of Alabama's football team does. The NFL team, Jacksonville Jaguars, revenue fluctuates year to year because they are an unpredictable team. For example, in 2020, the team's revenue was $391 million, whereas in 2021, it was $471 million. While she did not believe the increase in revenue was solely from winning, the stadium had renovations and the fan base was strong. Winning does provide a significant financial advantage both on and off the field, but there are several of other factors that help a sport entity have a financial gain. Moving on to the last thing I learned in this course from the New Revenue Trends blog, classmate Chandler shared with us that he found legal sports betting to be the most promising for future revenue. In the United States, collegiate and professional sports are very popular. In the past, seeing commercials for websites such as DraftKings never made him think about the fact that sports betting is still illegal in most of the United States. According to our textbook, sports betting in the 18 states it is legal has totaled $1.5 billion in revenue. A report from the American Gaming Association stated that roughly 80% of American citizens are in favor of legalized sports betting in their state. Legalizing sports betting could not only benefit the government, but also could benefit the sport leagues and teams. Today, everyone probably knows someone who does some form of betting on sports events. Although it is still considered illegal, bookies are very common with many today. The point is, regardless of whether it is legal or not, people are still going to partake in it. Legalizing it will allow the economy to benefit from it as well as sports teams and leagues. For me, Chandler really gave the meaning of you learn something new every day. After reading his blog post, it really had me thinking. The most I knew about gambling was the casino, and that information was limited. So to learn how that ties into sports was really cool to see. Hopefully now that I shared with you 3 things that I was able to learn from my classmates, you can share it too. I'm so glad to have the opportunity to have classmates from all walks of life, and I even exchanged information and found that we have a lot more in common than you think. While there are so many interesting things that I particularly found interesting, I would love to share just 2. In Unit 2, we touch on sponsorship acquisition. I found this section the most interesting because it focuses on the process whereby organizations receive a multitude of sponsorship possibilities from sports entities looking to secure sponsors. In my previous mass communication class, we would touch base on advertising and the importance of it. For me, it was very interesting to see how similar the process of these 2 things are. Learning about sport acquisition, I dug deeper and I asked a lot of questions to myself, such as, what all can you get sponsorship for? If you get it with sports entities, what else? I found it interesting enough that you can get a sponsor for just about anything. Events, brands, a radio show, podcast. It's amazing what I found out. I'm also glad that the book touched on this because process such as sponsorship acquisition can go beyond sports. Sponsorships can help with nonprofits for people that really have a heart and want to give back. The list is endless. Half the time, you don't even need any experience to get sponsorship. But what you do need experience is knowing about your brand or the thing you want to get sponsored in. I enjoy so much learning about the process of sports acquisition. The second thing was something more I enjoyed doing, and that was the elevator pitch. As graduation is approaching, I realized that this elevator pitch is going to be very essential to me getting a job. Doing the assignment made me weed out my strengths and weaknesses. I only had a limited of time to truly sell myself, so I was very selective in what I wanted to say about myself. That would really stand out against other competitors seeking the same job opportunity. The elevator pitch was not as easy as I thought it would be. I definitely struggled the first few takes and learned that I should enunciate a lot more and that I had to get comfortable with myself. The videos posted for examples really helped. I saw in some of the comments that it helped other students to complete their elevator pitch assignment. One thing from this course that I am still needing to better develop is selling with the pro method. I struggle with this the most in chapter 2. The pro method of selling is a 5-step process which takes you from pre to post sale. I've always been great at talking to people, but learning how to sell things was a completely different ballpark for me. I think that I will just have to practice more on it and be more confident. I saw similarities of struggles I had with the pro method and elevator pitch. But as I said, I do think that confidence is key. If I don't believe or if I'm not confident in what I am selling, how is someone else supposed to be? I think that I do my best in step 4, which is to propose an offer that best fits the customer needs. As someone pursuing a degree in hospitality, I'm all about catering to a customer's needs. Lastly, I would rate this course as a positive. I was able to learn from everyone in this class. The interaction between classmates was incredible, especially the ones you have so much in common with and never even seen before in person. Another reason why I would rate this class as a positive is for the notes. I'm so thankful that our notes were always up to date. I was shocked to see TikTok even mentioned in a PowerPoint. I think as a student, when we are learning, it is always something from the past. Things that are just completely outdated. So to have course material that relates to what we have and use today was really cool.